Hello, my dear friends. My name is Lucian, aka Triangle Investor from Twitter. This is my new channel. I call it X Investors, as my plan is to bring more people from X community, people who are investors in commodities like uranium, precious metals, copper, lithium, etc. As you probably know, I have my channel CEO and market expert interviews, which will still be my main focus. On that channel, I bring CEOs and known people from commodity space, but like you know, majority of my content is uranium related. So on this channel, I want to hear the other side of the story, and that is the investor side. My first guest is a guy who I follow for years now, investor in uranium sector for a long run. I want to welcome Casper, nuclear advocate. Buddy, thank you for coming to my show. You have the honor of being my first guest.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, I agree definitely. Casper, for the people who do not know anything about you, can you tell us where are you coming from? What are you doing in your life? Share us a little bit of your background.
Yeah. I'm Casper. I live in Denmark all my life. I'm a nurse at my job, and 42 years old. So I'm living here with my wife and a son. So, and I've been in the uranium sector for since 2020.
The best time, definitely. How is, by the way, how is life in Denmark?
Yeah, it's great. It's I couldn't. The weather is pretty bad, but we don't get a lot of summer. It's just 1 or 2 months if we're lucky. So, but besides that, it's a great country, and except we have I think we have the highest capital gains tax on the stocks when you sell them. I think it's 42%. So,
and 42%.
And when you work, we have for many years we have the largest working tax when you job in the world. So besides that, but everything is fine here. So we have high wage.
Besides that, everything is great. What about inflation, and how is the inflation battle going with?
It's actually, I don't know, it's coming way down. It's almost, we were almost around zero, and then it's ticked up a little bit, but we're below 2%. So it's I don't know why, but it's going very well in Denmark. So
yeah, great. What about real estate prices?
Yeah, they're high. So, but I live in a small island, and so it's not that bad. But if you live in Copenhagen, it's crazy. Like, I think it's every capital in the world. It's people almost can't afford it. So
yeah, I believe that the same thing is with the rent, not just for selling properties. The same here in Croatia. Things are really going wild. If I'm not mistaken, your country does not have nuclear power plants, which is in accordance with the law passed by the Danish parliament some 40 years ago, prohibiting power production from nuclear energy in Denmark. But you do import nuclear energy, right?
Yeah, Denmark have long been one of the most anti-nuclear countries in the world, and we're part of the EU, and we have our politicians down in EU. They advocate against nuclear power all the time, so it's totally crazy. But I live in a small island, and we have power lines to Sweden and Norway, so we get a lot of nuclear power from Sweden. So
yeah. Your climate minister has rejected nuclear power in Denmark as no-go, arguing that wind and solar generation are now so much cheaper than nuclear that the technology was off the tables. So is that still the case there? Any chance of policy change soon?
Oh yeah, that's a Danish company, Vestas, is one of the largest wind turbine producers in the world. So that's a powerful wind lobby that just controls everything, and every politician's like wind, so it's impossible for them to accept nuclear power. It's never going to happen, I think. So, but there's the polls, and the people have actually changed. I mean, back in the day, there was always a new anti-nuclear country, but today is actually there's above 50% of the population that are pro-nuclear. So the people are for it, but I don't think it's going to happen for our politicians. So.
Yeah, definitely, probably. Casper, when did you start investing in equities?
Yeah, I've been like I'm investing maybe, I don't know, 15 years, but I've never really made any money. I've never, did it long term. It's just a short swing trade, lost a little bit here, made a little bit there. It's nothing big. So but it was actually a George Gammon video in 2019. He mentioned uranium, and then in the late 19, and then I just read up and understood the whole supply demand situation and what happened after Fukushima. And I just thought, like Rick Rule said, either the price has to go up or the lights will go out. So.
Yeah, definitely.
A sure thing.
Yeah, so that is the story how you entered uranium. But besides uranium, in which commodities are you currently investing?
Yeah, I like physical gold and silver. So I've traded, bought and sold for many years. So but that's the only thing besides uranium.
Okay. Can you name 5 commodities that you are bullish now and 5 commodities on which you are bearish at the moment?
I'm not really into like much other than uranium. Of course, copper, everything's going to be electrified in the society. So, and there's not a lot of, it's like that's just the same with uranium mines. There's not a lot of copper mines coming online. So there's going to be a shortage, I think. So that's a sure thing.
Yeah.
And silver is also a great conductor. So that's going to be needed in electric cars and wind turbines. So.
Casper, how do you do your research before investing? What are the most important metrics when you are doing your due diligence on one company? What are you paying attention the most?
Yeah, it has changed in the start. I didn't really. I just picked. The most of my portfolio was like care and maintenance mines and near-term producers, because I thought that the ones are going to produce this cycle are gonna be the winners. So, but as the years went by, the more and more I understood that management is the key, is the most important factor. So, and as we're gonna go over my portfolio, but I've got Bannerman as my biggest position, and so I got in early on, and as the years went by, I just understood how lucky I was. But that Brandon Monroe was like one of the best CEOs in the sector. So
yeah. We will discuss certain companies. I will ask you about them, and especially about Bannerman. One other question before that: what factors are keeping you away from one company? When you what are the most important red flags?
Yeah, I like companies that are going into production. So if they're many years out in the future, I don't wanna touch it. And of course, if they like Next Gen, when they sponsor, they don't make any money. They just collect investors' money and then spend them on
Formula One.
That's a totally no go. So.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely. Casper, why uranium? Tell us. You said you entered uranium trade in 2020, and you told us how you discovered it, but why?
Yeah, it's like we can't live without it. And it's kind of difficult to explain, but the situation after Fukushima just made it like the most sure bet when we had a 10-year bear market, and it takes so long for new production to come online. So it's almost a sure thing that we're going to be in a huge deficit for many years. So it's not like, yeah, of course, every mine takes a lot of time to get into production, but uranium is, I think, one of the commodity where it takes the longest time to permit and find it, and there's a lot of red tape around getting a uranium mine in production. So the supply can't meet the demand going forward. So
yeah,
we have deficits.
Definitely. What was your first uranium stock pick back then in 2020? The first one?
Yeah, I've had a few, some which I've sold off, which didn't perform. So, but I think maybe Denison was one of my first, and then I had a Blue Sky. It's in Argentina. It's one of the worst performers. So I sold that a couple of years ago. But I think that was yeah, I don't really remember, but it was in January 2020. So I think it was the Denison and the Blue Sky first before I really understood the sector.
Okay. When was that in 2020? In which month?
It was in January.
January.
Yeah, I got in just before the COVID crash. I bought in January and just I didn't have any more money, so I just rode all the way down and all the way up again. So I didn't have any money in March 2020, although it would have been nice to buy at the bottom.
Yeah. I bought some stuff, especially I bought Denison at that bottom, and I believe it was around 40 cents. But it was a small buy for me because I had Denison before, the big position from before. Casper, what is your investment approach? Do you hold all your stocks, especially uranium, for a longer period, or do you trade them monthly, weekly, daily? What's the approach here?
It's just a buy and hold, and then I have sold a few losers. I've never bought and hold stocks for this long time in my life. In my 4 years, so there comes a time in your investment journey where you have to put in more money in, and you have to think to yourself, I'm gonna put it into my winners or into my losers. That was the big question. I've never been in that situation before, but I choose the right decision. I can see now I choose to put the money into my winners, because I think the trend is going to continue. Why the market, if stocks have performed well, it means that thousands of individual investors around the world like this company, and I don't think that many people are just gonna suddenly change their mind. So I'm going with the trend. I'm thinking my best performers are gonna keep performing, and the ones that are performing poorly, and those I'm gonna cut away and put the money into my winners. But I have 6-7 positions which I've had the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm. So you have, at the moment, you have 7 uranium positions.
Oh, in total, no, 6. Yeah, 6.
Which one are they, if you can disclose?
Yeah, I'm starting with the Bannerman, which is my biggest position. I think they're gonna go into production maybe 27, 26 if we're lucky. So, and I just think that Brandon Monroe was one of the best CEOs in the business, and and you can reach out to him on Twitter and talk to him if you have questions. And so I think that's a lot of other investors think like that. It's the management in Bannerman that I think is performed well. So
yeah, I agreed on investor relations. I believe that they're one of the best companies when it comes to investor relations. They really reach out to investors, and Brandon personally talks with his shareholders, etc. And I know few uranium CEOs that are doing that, and Brandon is let's say a pioneer when it comes to that. So definitely. But Casper, what do you like besides the management in Bannerman? Do you like the project and the economics of the project?
Yeah, I mean they've been around they were even around for the last cycle, so they've de-risked the project for many years, and they run a pilot plant, so they know exactly how you're gonna crush the ore and how size the rocks are gonna be. So they're ready when they're going full scale. They don't have to adjust the production. They should be ready to produce the optimal amount. So
mm-hmm. Yeah. And are you comfortable with Namibia as jurisdiction?
Yeah, I mean they've produced uranium for decades, so and there've never actually been any problems. So it's not like like Nigeria was a bit more complicated. So I don't see problems in Namibia.
Yeah, me too, definitely. But I wanted to ask you that. What is your second position? I mean, by size.
Yeah, I got Paladin. I just thought just Borshov's legacy and name alone would attract a lot of investors, and they have. So it's one of the the few stocks I haven't, added to along the way. So I bought it very early on, and I actually at the top, I think I'm only did a 10x, but we've come a little bit down. But it's also one of my best performers.
Great. We talked about Bannerman investor relation as a superb investor relation, but when it comes to Paladin, I would say the opposite. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, they're very quiet. I don't know why they don't put any information out. It's very rare. So at a big company like that, I don't know why they don't feel like they should inform the market and investors what they're doing. But I guess they just think they can do it.
I really don't know why, because I heard from a lot of people that they are not even responding to emails. Their CEO is not appearing in any shows, etc. They are very, very quiet, and they, like you said, they are a big company. So
yeah,
it surprises me definitely. And tell me more about Paladin. What do you like about Paladin besides the thing you said?
It's a mine that I've produced before, and not many of those around. So it should be, a sure investment. It should be producing again without that much trouble. Although they had some problems with when they the Porsche, they went bankrupt, but then there's a new management. But still, it's a mine that have produced millions of pounds. So they should be able to do that again very easily without many issues. So
yeah, when John left, there were circumstances back then that led to certain bad decisions back then. I recall that. Let's go to your third position. Which company is that? Which one?
Yeah, got Boss, which also have in Australia have performed very well. I'm only actually surprised how well it has performed, but I think it's also because of the CEO Duncan Craig. He have performed perfectly. That's along the way, bringing that back online. So I think the investors appreciate that.
Yeah, what's your take on the deal with Anchor Energy?
Yeah, I don't really know how. I think it's going to be great that they can diversify and produce in Australia and in the US too. So with the more Western production places, they can source materials, the better. So
definitely. What about Boss management? Do you like their management?
Yeah, I mean, there was a Duncan had been on Crux Investor along with Brandon Monroe, and I think they're friends, so they should be using each other to each other's experience. So I think it shows.
Yeah. What's your fourth position?
Then I got Energy Fuels in the US. It's also a care and maintenance mine. I just early on I picked almost all the care and maintenance mines. I thought they were gonna go on and producing again this cycle. So that I like that. It's a US producer, so there may be a little premium there when the US government are very pro, uranium. So, and I like the rare.
Yeah, that's my question about rare earth. A lot of investors are not too satisfied about that segment of the company, that it's relying more on rare earths than uranium. They are saying they are not, and they are posting that. But what's your take on that? Do you like that rare earth segment, or do you dislike?
Yeah, I think it was a natural decision when the uranium price was still low, and they put efforts in rare earth. There's a huge deficit. It's China. It's sitting on almost all the world production. So, and then the uranium price, exploded, and then they switched from rare earth to back to uranium. And I think a lot of investors didn't like, switching from one commodity into another. And you can see it on their share price. It hasn't really performed as well.
Yeah. So, one of the reasons, definitely, but not just rare earths. They have a third segment. It's medical isotopes in energy fuels. I had Mark Chalmers in my show a few months ago, and asked him that question about medical isotopes, and he said that that segment will also grow in the future, but it will not be a significant part of the company's revenues in the future. And do you believe that they are strategically positioned with their White Mesa mill as a strategic asset in the United States, as we have only 3 mills in the United States, and this one is the only one operating at the moment?
Yes, it's a huge advantage for them that they have the mill. So, and that's, I don't know, I think that, when you look at the relationship with China and the West, it's getting worse and worse. So if you have a Western, rare earth producer, it should be like printing money in the future with all the technology and the military and fighter jets and rockets and that needs rare earths and magnets and electric cars, and China can just switch it off. They have done it before. If the relationship gets too bad, they just shut it off production, and then we're screwed in the West. So if you have a huge producers, that should be very valuable. So.
And are you satisfied in the way that Mark Chalmers is running the company?
Yeah, I think it's natural for him when the uranium price was down to just put all the efforts in rare earth, and then he couldn't know that the uranium prices were just going to explode, and then he switched back. I think I would have done the same too. You can make a lot of money bringing your uranium mines back online, so he should do it now, which he's doing. So
yeah, he is, definitely. What about your next position?
Yeah, then I got a Lotus, also in Malawi, a care and maintenance mine owned by Paladin before. So
frankly, I don't know. I know a lot. I know majority of the companies. I know them. I know a lot of information about them, but I gotta hand it. I don't know much about Lotus. What is their story?
Yeah, it was a mine in Malawi in Africa, brought on by Paladin on the last cycle, and then they sold it off, and there's a new management. I don't remember 2019 or 20. There was a new management that have worked to bring the Kylakira mine back online, and I think the plan is late 26. They're gonna restart. I don't know why it takes so long when you look at the other, the Boss and the Paladin and the Energy Fuels. They're already, producing. So, but still, they're very low. They have a very low market cap, so they should. I hope there's a lot of upsides when they start producing.
When do you believe that they will start to produce?
Yeah, I don't know. They say late 26, but no, I really don't, know the management that well. If they're able to, but I like the very low market cap, and they already have a mine built. So when you look at the for example, Deep Yellow, that are a lot way larger market cap, and they don't even have a mine. So they
and
should
what is the current market cap of Lotus?
What is it?
Current market cap of the company, Lotus.
Oh, yeah. I don't really remember. Maybe 400 million Australian. I don't know. I think.
Yeah. Who is next?
Mine built. So not many companies around that already have a constructed mine with that low of a market cap. So I don't know why the market doesn't appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't know if you have noticed, but generally Australian uranium stocks are underperforming compared to Canadian and US stocks. Why do you believe that is the case?
Yeah, I don't know if a lot of people still think it's like an AK-47 jurisdiction on the things in Nigeria, maybe.
Yeah.
I think that's a general situation in Africa, but it's not. So the countries are different. So I don't know why it's. I think it's one of the best, and all of the majority of my portfolio is in Africa. So I think that's where
you mentioned Niger. Do you have any Niger companies? Global Atomic, GoviEx, Myriad?
Oh yeah, I had GoviEx for several years, but that was one of my worst performers, so I sold it off and just put the money in Bannerman.
So at the moment, you don't have any Niger companies in Europe.
Yeah, I should have Global Atomic, but I got in too late and it just took off, and I thought I like to have my positions big, so I just thought that ship had sailed. So, but it's a great company.
Yeah, definitely, it's a great company. That's one of my biggest position. It's not great because of that, but I like to say that. Tell me who is next on your list.
Yeah, then I got Deep Yellow, also in Namibia. It's just I think it's a must own when you have John Borshoff, and look what you've done in the past, and that jurisdiction where you can bring permitting is fast, and you can bring mines back online fast. So he should be, if he's an old man, but if he sticks around it, he should be able to build a mine and go into production. So
yeah, he is an old man, but he has energy more than some 30-year-old guys I know, frankly, because I spoke with John a few times, and he has energy for you wouldn't believe how much energy that guy has. But the question is he getting out of bed, like he said? When is he starting to produce uranium?
yeah, I don't really know their schedule. How I haven't really looked into it, but so I don't really know when he expects to be in production. But he just made a huge raise, what was it, 250 million Aussie. So I think things are going to happen pretty soon when you take that lots of cash in. So
Yeah, we covered all the companies from your portfolio, or
yeah, I got Denison, and that's the only.
oh, you hold Denison. You said to me that if I understand it correctly, you sold some Denison, and you have a small position still, right?
Oh yeah, I still have Denison. It was I had Blue Sky in Argentina. I sold that one.
Okay,
So
sorry. Yeah, right. What's your take on Denison? Do you believe that they will succeed with ISR mining in the middle
yeah,
of the Athabasca?
yes, there's a lot of risk when you're not only have never been done before in in Canada. I saw mining in the Athabasca Basin. So, but if they manage to pull it off, a very low cost production method, and they got huge, very high grade, and I saw a very low cost production method. So if they can pull it off, they should be able to make a lot of money. So
Yeah, actually, they pulled it off already. They extract uranium, but okay, not on a larger scale. But like you said, if Denison succeeds with this technology and with the economics they have, it will be a cash machine like never seen before, because they have like all-in sustaining cost of, I don't know, I believe on Phoenix it's around $9 or $11, and on the other projects, let's say they're all behind $20. So cash machine definitely. And what's your take on Denison management? David Cates as a CEO.
I really like him. When you see him in interviews, you can tell that there are promoter CEOs, and then there's like mining guys CEOs, and he's a mining guy. He just every interview is just technical stuff. So you can tell he's planning on going into production. That's the only thing he's working on. So
Yeah. Do you believe that besides Denison, NextGen or Fission will manage to produce uranium in this decade? Do you believe that is the case? I
yeah,
often ask that question. Not just I always ask that questions, even the CEOs of the companies in the Athabasca, because frankly, I do not believe that NextGen or Fission will produce in this decade. That's me. Okay. What's your take?
I don't have that much confidence in their management. So I don't know if they can produce themselves, or if they have to, take in a partner or sell the company to get in production. So, but I almost think that Denison may be going to be the first one, of the new mines going into production when you look at the development. So it's only the permitting thing when ISR, they've never been done before. So they say that could be an issue with it would take a lot of time when it's a mining method that's not been done before. The regulators were, you know, there could be a lot of red tape around that. So that's the only kind of negative thing around it.
Yeah, we will see how this will unfold. Who are your favorite uranium CEOs? You said John Borshoff. Okay, I got it. Who else?
Yeah, of course, Brandon Monroe. He actually, you know, I think it was 2020 when I started, you know, looking into the uranium sector, and I Googled, and then I found out John Quakes, that he was on Twitter, said that was the place you have to be. So I opened a Twitter account only to, you know, to get into the uranium sector. So, and then I got online there, and he actually wrote to me just out of nowhere. You can see that I added a lot of valuable information for Twitter, and he would like to get my email so I could be on their mailing list. So he just wrote me out of nowhere.
And who are you mentioned Twitter, you mentioned Quakes. Who are if you can name, let's say 5, 6 people or 10, who are your favorite follows on Twitter?
Yeah, there's a lot, but there's this guy Harry Chris. He's you know, anonymous. No one knows who he is, but he brings a lot of, you know, technical stuff that you don't know where he gets it from. And that this guy Porsche, I don't know if it's Peter.
Yeah.
I don't know. You don't know who he is, but it's he brings a lot of interesting things to the table too. Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, of course, John Quakes is it's amazing what he can provide with information just every single day. So,
Who else?
yeah, of course, there's Segra and Section Cove, and they're not really active on Twitter, but when they sometimes they, you know, put out interviews, and that's quite, you know, interesting how they look at the sector. So
Yeah, definitely, especially with Mike. Is there any uranium companies that you have on your radar now to buy them for the first time? Or you think that we are late in the cycle and that you are too late to buy to enter as first position?
No, I haven't touched my portfolio in, I think, so the last couple of years. This is my for the 7 positions, and I'm gonna stick with that. So it was from 20, 21, 22. I just added every month the money I had left over, everything went into my uranium portfolio. But the last couple of years, I think I have quite a nice gain. So I think I don't want to, you know, average up too much and put money in when we've come so far.
Yeah, definitely. I asked you about your favorite CEOs. Is there any CEOs that you dislike?
Yeah, NextGen, of course.
Yeah. Besides NextGen, any other?
I thought, yeah, I was actually surprised by, you know, Amir Adnani. I thought he was never ever going to produce a single pound, but it actually looks like they're going to produce. So I just thought that he was a promoter, but I was kind of surprised that it looks like he's going to produce. So
yeah, I really have to say this about Amir. I never considered him a promoter. The guy is really a smart guy, first of all, and he created this company from zero, and he put all his money in the company, and what he's doing a great thing, not just with Uranium Energy Corp. He has another gold company, gold mining, and he bought assets when really the prices were depressed. I mean, with uranium, with gold, he has a brilliant timing of buying cheap assets, beaten assets, and I really gotta hand it to Amir. And of course, when you create that kind of company, you expect to be paid. You will expect to get some value for what you are doing. So I have a little bit different opinion on Amir, and I really respect the guy. Of course, everybody can have his own opinion. I respect the other opinion as well. Casper, what's your strategy when uh, uh, selling uranium stocks? What is your exit strategy?
And in the beginning, my major exit strategy was just when they went into production, I was going to sell, but so
It's changed.
I've changed. So a lot of company are producing now. So and we haven't really moved that far on the equity side as I would like to. So I'm just gonna take it a year at the time. I'm gonna hold this like in 24 and see where we go. But I think we've come along. I've been in the sector for 4 years and we haven't progressed on the equity side as much as I've hoped. So maybe it's time to, if we get a really a nice leg up soon, maybe I'm gonna take off the
take some money off the table. Yeah, but do you have some price targets in your head, or you did some analysis, or you're waiting for a specific event?
No, I'm just gonna look at the market where we are and where's the deficit and how are the rest of the investors looking at the uranium sector and how are the equities performing, and then just if we're gonna stay like this status quo for a long time, maybe I'm gonna lose my patience sooner or later. But so I don't have a specific goal where I'm gonna sell, but I think I'm gonna keep it here in 24 and see what the market is, how it will react. So
yeah, and what's your take on the current uranium pullback? I mean, both spot price and equities.
Yeah, it's there's nothing. We've been through worse, so I don't.
Yeah,
we had a huge January. It was amazing. So it's just almost like we're back to zero here in 24. So it's not really a huge pullback when we look at the gains that we had in January. So it's just part of the journey. I'm not really concerned.
yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's a part of the journey, spot on. Because people react in all sorts of ways and think this is the capitulation, it's all over, etc. So this is a perfectly normal process with ups and downs, and we are in one healthy bull market, and that's my opinion, and I always tweet that, and people know that. Casper, that is about it. Did I forget something to ask you, or you would like something to add?
No, I don't know. I think it was pretty much we got around a lot of things. So
Thank you very much for this interview.
yeah, it was great.